Yeah, we're all waiting patiently. I had a whole troop go down. He's like, it's not ready yet.
Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan
Good
Saranai Bante.
afternoon, everyone.
What do you have to say? It's midnight. Hadulah ni lah.
Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan Saranai.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry, that is repeating in YouTube. Yes, Bante. Can you hear us?
Yes, Bante, I can hear you all. Yes.
Yes, Bante. We did our first part of our program today. Our friends, they offered dana, and we did a Buddha Puja. And now, Bante, it's your time. So we were waiting for you.
Okay.
So you can see some familiar faces. I think you can see them.
Yes, Bante, I'm so glad to see all of you. It's nice familiar faces and our loving children and everyone. It's such a great, nice thing to see you all. I hope that you all had a nice meal.
Very
Yes, maybe I should ask from our children, how was the meal? Yes. So what do you give? Yes. What's the name? Yes. Did you have a good meal? Yes. Out of 10, how many you will give for the meal? 10. 10 out of 10. Yeah. 9. Out of 10, you give how many?
10. 10 stars.
10 out of 10.
2.
Okay. So, okay. So, I don't know. We have a lot of children today, so let's try to, accommodate them also in our talk. Again, this is in our monthly gathering. This is our time to learn a little bit of the Dhamma and try to, find a way to incorporate Dhamma into our daily life. So because of this month is February month, so we decided to focus our talk on relationships. And I'm going to share with you the teachings of the Buddha that will help us to nurture our relationships, nurture our relationship with our family, with our friends, with our partners, and everyone, and how we can nurture our relationships. Maybe we can also ask questions from our children. What do they think as important habits to make our relationships happier? How to maintain our relationship with our friends, our family. Right? So, and there are. Let me share with you. There are a number of qualities we can discuss that will help us to improve our relationship with everyone else, particularly the people who will live with us, very often. Okay. There is the teaching that we find in the Buddhist discourses is called Sangha Vattu, the basis for a good relationship, or the basis for nurturing our relationships, the basis for harmony, basis for closeness, close relationships. So there are 4 factors. I would like to share that 4 factors and maybe invite you to share your own experience with that. So if I give the summary, there are these four means, in other words, four means of nurturing our relationships, or four bases for our harmonious relationships. Okay, and there are four. Okay, I'm asking from children, can you remember four? Can you remember the four factors? Can you remember four things? Is it difficult to remember four things? Because at the end, I'm going to ask you these four factors.
Just only 4 words, Bante, right?
Yeah, 4 words, 4 words. Are you ready to remember the four words at the end? Yeah. Only Siddhartha nodded his head, Okay, let's see whether they can remember. So the 4 means of nurturing our relationships are, one is called dana, which means generosity. Now, being generous is one basis to keep our relationships going, to nurture our relationships, to make our relationships stronger. Generosity, that's number 1. Generosity. Second is pleasant speech. Pleasant speech, how we speak, the pleasant speech. That's the second one. And third one is related to body, the speech related to our mouth speech. But the third one is beneficial actions, or you can maybe helpful actions, even maybe like service. So helping with our body. So helpful actions. So that's number 3, helpful actions. And the number 4 is called samanatata in Pali, but we can say it's like consistency, or maybe let's say evenness, balance, evenness. I will explain what we mean by the evenness. So those are the 4 things. I hope that our kids can remember: generosity, pleasant words, helpful actions, and evenness. We can also think about consistency, but it's a difficult word. Evenness. Okay, can you remember these 4?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Can someone tell me 2, and another one can tell me next 2? Who can tell me the first 2? Yes, I can see Maitri's hand. Okay. Maitri, can you see the first 2? Yes. Among the 4 factors. The first one. Very good. Very good. The second one. Okay, okay. Timali. What's the second one, Timali? Yes, pleasant speech. Pleasant speech. And number 3. Who remember number 3? Yes, Siddharth?
Helpful actions.
Very good. Very good. The last one was the most difficult one. Let's see who can remember that. Yes, is it Raya?
Yes.
Okay, yes, Raya. What's the last one?
She answered, Bante.
She answered. Yeah. Say again.
Ritesh.
Say in the mic.
You want to say in the mic?
Raya, what was the last one?
Evenness.
Very good. I'm so impressed. So impressed. Very good. Very good. I'm so glad. So these are the 4 things. Let's try to understand how exactly these four qualities can help us to have, good time, good relationship, with our friends, families, and how these things can help us to have a healthy relationship. When it comes to generosity, we know that generosity means sharing, giving, and willing to, sometimes willing to dedicate, willing to sacrifice. Um, so, in the context of relationships, generosity can help us in two ways. One is differently, any relationship requires some form of sacrifice, some form of sharing, some form of commitment in terms of our time, some form of commitment in terms of our resources. So relationships always, have that element, that we have to give, we have to share. That is the basis of any relationship. Even in a family, we have to share our time for them, and we have to share our resources with them, and we have to, share. Sometimes we have to dedicate a lot of things for our family, for our friends, for our partners. So if you are generous, if you are ready, or maybe if you have willingness to share, and that relationship can grow, and because in one way it can grow because we are not restricted, we are not self-centered, but we are willing to sometimes even sacrifice our comfort, and if the other person sees that, if the other person realizes that, if other people in a family realize that the one person is giving up his or her own comfort, and that person is willing to share, and that can help us to grow in our relationship. And it's very difficult for a relationship to be smooth and healthy and nice if you are not generous, because it's the basis. In any relationship, there's there are exchanges. We have to exchange things between and among us, but and therefore generosity is a very important part. And if you start a relationship, we have to be ready. We have to be ready to share. Without being ready to share, without being ready to give, and there's no point of starting a relationship. Any form of relationship, even a teacher-student relationship, or maybe family relationship, friends relationship, even relationship with the husband and wife or a partner, and all these relationships involves giving, sharing, some form of dedication, sacrifice. So that is why I think the Buddha mentioned, this thing, like generosity as number one basis for a good, healthy relationship. That will be the good one ingredient, of a good relationship. And sometimes we may think that giving and sharing our our time, giving our resources for the other party, and sometimes we may think that it can be like a waste of our time or waste of our relationship. But I think if we do it, not only for the benefit of the other person, and definitely if you are sharing and giving, it will benefit the other person. But we need to practice these qualities not only to benefit the other party, but actually as a way of growing our own qualities. Because when we grow our generosity, we are benefiting others, but at the same time, we are changing our personality. We are changing our defilements. So being generous can help us to reduce our ego, reduce our attachment, reduce our clinging, and that is helping us so much, and in many other instances in our life. So I think we shouldn't be afraid of being generous. It is benefiting others. It can really help our relationship, but mainly it helps our relationship because it counteracts with our own ego, self-centered nature. Because once you are slowly getting rid of the self-centered nature, and most of our relationships will be very smooth. For one difficulty for us to maintain a good relationship is our preoccupation with ourself, and and so being generous can help us in both ways. But the other aspect of being generous is not only sharing our time or resources with other person, but at the same time being generous in expressing our love and care. Sometimes we are not generous in expressing our care and our love, particularly when we are in a long-term relationship. After a while, we get into this habit. We take many things for granted, and we become sometimes lazy, and sometimes not sensitive enough, and sometimes even stingy of expressing our concern, our love, and our care. So being generous in expressing, our concern for the other person, our care for the other person is very important. From time to time, we have to express that. And sometimes you may have a great care, concern, and love for the other party, and that is why you dedicate so much and you do so many things for the other person. But we sometimes forget to share it and say it, and then and express it, in many ways. I would like to ask from our children, our kids, how we can express our love for someone, how we can show your love to someone. Can you give me a suggestion? Yes, Maitri.
You can show how caring you are about them.
How you can express, how you can show your love? By? Yes, Maitri, by doing what? How you can show
You
your love?
can show them how much you care.
Very good. Yes, we should show how much you care. How you show it? How you show it?
You help them if they need to get
Very
help.
good. Yes, very good. So that is how you show how much you care, by helping, right? By doing something. Very good. Anyone else can give me another way to show you show your love and show your care, express your love? What are the other ways? Yes, Siddharth?
If you went on like a trip or something, you can get them something from the trip.
Very good. That's an excellent way to express your love. So when you go for a trip or something, you don't forget the persons you love, and you will buy a gift for them, right? Yeah. So I'm just now thinking, Siddharth, I may have to bring a lot of. So I should express my love and my care for you, right? Yeah. Good suggestion. Yes. And sometimes, we also give cards, right? Did you give a card on your Mother's Day last year? Did you prepare a card for your mom? Did you write a card for your mom? Yes, so there are many ways actually we can share our love. So generosity, we need to understand in two ways. One is willing to, be generous with our time, with our resources, but at the same time, being generous in expressing our love and care. And it's a very, very important thing to remember, usually, we become, we take things for granted. Sometimes we don't express. It's very important from time to time you express, your care, your concern, and either you can say it openly, or you can, do it in a creative way, like giving a gift, like, Siddharth suggested, or giving a card. And maybe sometimes even just, just sharing, just telling. And we had to be generous, we had to be humble. We had to be, like definitely humble, to do that. So that's first one, generosity. That really help us to grow our relationships, and being generous is the first quality. The second one, which is related to the first one, but is called Peya Vacha in Pali, which is the pleasant speech. Pleasant speech, and even sometimes you can call it polite speech and maybe kind speech. You should know by now, our speech is the key factor in our relationships, because how we communicate with others is mainly through our speech. Of course, there are also many other non-verbal ways of communicating with the other partner, other people in our relationships, but mainly our speech is very, very important part. So here Buddha mentioned about Peya Vacha. He said Peya means actually pleasant, polite, nice. And because our speech, because speech is one of the key ways to communicate, key ways to interact with the other person or other people, and it has to be pleasant. And this is very important factor to remember. Sometime, in our speech, we are not very skillful because we want to express our concern, we want to express how we feel about the other people, but sometimes we are not skillful. Most of the problems and difficulties arise in our relationships because of our unskillfulness in our speech. Therefore, we really have to pay attention how we speak, or how we use our words, the tones of our speech. That will change a lot of things in our relationships. And sometimes we can say the same thing in two different ways. And if you are, let's say, if you are really unhappy with the other person's behavior, let's say some person is having a bad habit, or maybe some person is having a behavior that is not helping that person. So because of our concern with the other person, we get upset about it, and then we get frustrated and we get disappointed. So when we want to tell the other person about that bad habit, that bad behavior, or maybe even a bad decision that person made, when we want to express, when we want to talk about it, and we mostly express our frustration, maybe our unhappiness, but we forget to express our concern, our deeper love. And that requires, some very strong mindfulness to do that, to like really, when we discuss, when we want to say, when we want to speak with other person, how we can get over our, frustration, our feeling, our the disappointment, and then go into the deeper concern. It is not easy. It is difficult. But I think for our relationship to work, if you really want your relationship to be something that is beneficial to you, something that is pleasant, and we really have to pay attention how we speak and how we talk to each other, and what are the words that we use to talk to each other, and what are the tone, because the speech has a lot of aspects, and tone is also very important, and we really have to think about all these things. And sometimes, the way we speak will decide whether the other person will listen to us or not. And we can discuss the same issue in two different ways. We get two different responses from the other person. And if you are skillful, and you can get the other person listen to you, by presenting, by starting your conversation in a pleasant manner, and then slowly move into the difficult, topics. So therefore, I think, as practitioners, we had to take the responsibility of, maybe we had to take, take the responsibility of, maintaining our relationships. And usually we expect we try to blame, we try to blame each other, and then, and then try to, put the blame on the other party. And definitely everyone has their own weaknesses and, and also strengths too. But I think if we take the responsibility, we take the charge of the responsibility, and then we can change the other person too. Not directly, but, indirectly. I remember, listening to, some psychologists, some expression like, I would love it if you express your concern. I would love it if you are willing, or if I would love it if you can give me a hand to do this. And I would love it, if you have, if you come with me, to go somewhere, and it start with, I would love it, and then, that, so instead of saying that, sometimes, because then we express our concern, our need, rather than our frustration. Usually, if you want someone to come with you, instead of saying that, I would love it, if you come with me, and usually what we'll say that, you will never have time for me, you will never help me, you always ignore me. That's how we start. Sometimes we want the other person to come with us, but sometimes we start our conversation not really inviting, not really expressing our need or our desire or what we like, but expressing our frustration because of our previous experiences. So we would start saying that, you don't support me, or are you coming to help me? But I think instead of thinking too much about what happened in the past, if we can manage our speech, we can get things done. And I would encourage you to use more of I would love it if you, and then but don't do it as a criticism. I would love it, let's say we can say that I would love it if you don't bother me. And maybe that is it. Yeah, I mean, and it's still, maybe it's a nice praise, nice format, but it's still, you are kind of criticizing the other person. Where it's not really friendly approach, right? I mean, I would love it if you don't make me angry, and then again, you are blaming the other person, like putting you angry. So maybe we can say it in a positive manner, like not putting in a blame on the other person or criticism, but in a positive manner, and giving a specific, helping the other person with a specific suggestion of what you like the other person to do. Instead of giving a very general idea, I would love it if you help me. That's a good thing, but maybe it can be specific, I would love it, if you come with me to go somewhere. I would love it if you help me with, laundry or whatever. So giving a specific, suggestion is also very important. So that is a speech. So you have to be very skillful, even, maybe you can be a teacher, and that your speech is the key thing. So you can, how you approach your students, or your colleagues, and you may be, even in your working environment, speech is such a big thing. That is why even Buddha has, right speech as one of the, item in the Noble Eightfold Path, because that is a big thing in our life. So here Buddha mentioned about the pleasant speech as the key ingredients of a good relationship. So I hope that we pay more attention to how we speak, the way we speak, and that will help our relationships. The next one is helpful actions. So I think the generosity is more like attitude. You are willing to be generous. You are willing to share. You have this willingness, and then by paying a little bit more attention to speech, it's also part of being generous, but mainly, being skillful in expressing our concern and care, and then not let our frustration or anger or disappointment shape or influence our speech. But when it comes to helpful actions, then actually it's really behavior. So helpful actions. Of course, when we are living, when you're in a relationship, we really have to help each other. Definitely, any relationship, in maybe the workplace, in family environment, in our maybe a couple, in friendship, we really have to help. So helpful actions, not only speech, but actually doing something for the other person, is very important. Helpful action. Sometimes we have to, do other people. We have to perform, and we have to do some help for the other person. We have to prepare things for the other person. And there are sometimes some moments, the other person may be having difficulties in doing their own things, but in such cases, if we can help those people, and this is really helping. And if a friend is going through a difficult time, and then if we can do some help, let's say a friend is very busy, and if we can do some shopping for that friend, for example, and maybe the friend is having a difficult time, and maybe we can walk the dog for that a friend, in the friendship relationship, or even if you are living together. And sometimes there are many things that maybe you can help, you can do things for the other person, and something that other person will deeply appreciate. And sometimes we don't have to wait until the other person asks the help. It will be really nice if we can do things before the other person asks, and that will be the nice expression, nice way of doing things, preparing things and arranging things and doing for the other person. And of course, we may not have time every day to do such things, but if we have that attention, that awareness, you will find, even little things. This helpful action doesn't have to be always big, but some form of doing things for the other person. It is really nice thing, and then Buddha has included that in as one of the ingredients, for the healthy relationships. Okay, so right now, so far we have covered 3. So since we have our children, I would like to ask, do you remember the 3 things that I already described now? The first one, what is the first quality I described? Yes. Yes, Mahiru?
Generosity.
Very good. Yes, I already described generosity. Second one? Yes, Siddharth?
Good speech.
Very good. Timali, can you see the third one?
Good actions.
Yes, helpful actions. Okay, now let's come to the last one. And we can call it evenness. And this is mainly maintaining our mental balance, or actually maintaining some consistency or maybe evenness in our responding to others. We know that everyone everyone having different styles of emotions. When we are living with other people, when we are having a relationship with anyone, we'll be able to experience their emotions. Human beings have a lot of emotions, and the people have different styles of emotion, different styles of expressing emotions. So when the other person expresses some emotion and we get really influenced by them. If it is a pleasant emotions, we get so excited about it. If the other person expresses, negative emotion, maybe frustration or anger, and then we get also influenced by it. And maybe other person may even express anxiety and fear, and then we also being influenced by it. Another person can express happiness and joy, and we become influenced by them. And there's no harm in being influenced by them. We have to be sensitive to the other person's emotions. But this quality is such a great quality that and we maintain some kind of evenness, that we don't change our relationship, our connection with the other person because of the different expression, different emotional expression of the other person. And this is difficult quality to develop, but we can. Sometimes people can get angry and they can say very bad words, and people can say things like, I hate you, or people can say things like, and you are a bad person, whatever. People can, say those things in the heat of the moment. But if as practitioners, if we deeply understand, exactly how human mind works, now how most of the people are victims of their own defilements, and how people are lack of their mindfulness in managing many things, we realize, we get to know that sometimes even people say things and express say bad words, or we express strong emotions, and we realize that actually that's not the whole person. That's not the whole person. That is how that person behaves at that moment. And if you have that deeper understanding of the human mind through the Dhamma, and then you get to understand, how other persons, get mad in certain situations and say things and do things maybe unpleasant, but you don't destroy your relationship, and you don't, create a bad image of that person. Rather than, and you try to, you use the wisdom, you use the knowledge of the Dhamma to understand that how that person is not, it's a victim of his own defilements. At that moment, he was not able to catch his defilements. He was not able to overcome his defilements. He failed in that moment, and that is how we express like that. So with that deep understanding, when you approach that person, and we try to maintain, evenness, and we don't try to retaliate in the same way, and we maintain that evenness in that relation, or maybe consistency. We are not going to change how we react or respond to the other person because of the different emotional state of the other person. And because sometimes even those people, they can say things, do things, express their frustration, anger in many ways, but later they may some cases they may also regret those moments. But if we are ready to approach that person with the same level of care and love, with the same level of friendship, with the same level of love as you had before, and then you can, that will really influence, definitely help the other person, and that can help us to see the maintain relationship, but at the same time that can help us to see the person as a whole, but not be disturbed by the momentary expression of emotions. So that is a difficult quality to maintain or develop. But I think once you develop that skill, that's good for us. That will definitely help the other person too. In any relationship can grow, but it's definitely helping us. So we begin to see that actually, even in terms of being generous and paying attention to how we speak, and then try to do helpful actions, maybe doing some really helpful actions to other person, and then also maintaining evenness, maybe consistency in our relationship without being influenced by the other person's emotional reactions. All these four qualities actually the four qualities that help us to grow our own spirituality. So the truth in a relationship, the main thing happening is actually inner growth. Right. So when we try to achieve, when we try to practice these qualities, it's not only smoothen our relationship, make our relationship strong, happy, and it's nice, but it's also helping us to grow within ourselves. So I hope that these are the 4 qualities we need to develop. But I would like to have a discussion, and there are others. There are a few other stories also I'd like to share with you. But I will share these stories at the end, maybe when we answer the questions. So again, let's ask from our children, what are the 4 qualities that help us to nurture our relationship? The 4 qualities that help us to make our relationship stronger. What are these 4 qualities? Number 1. Can anyone say yes? Yes. Yes. Generosity. The next one. Yes, Sima.
Good speech.
Very good. Good speech. The third one. Yes, Siddharth.
Helpful actions.
Very good. Who remember the last one? Many hands. Yes, Mahiru, yes.
Evenness.
Very good. Evenness. So how many of these 4 do you have? How many of among these 4? How many do you have? How many do you have? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Do you share your toys with the other your siblings? Do you share your book? You share your toys?
Sometimes.
And do you try to speak nicely to your sisters and brothers? So I hope that you're also helping the other person, right? You're helping your siblings, your brothers and sisters. I hope that you're doing that. Maybe the difficult one would be the evenness. When your brother or sister, maybe got angry, and say something, and then after a while, can you go back and then talk to your, sister or brother in this, with a friendly manner, without really being influenced by the more recent interaction. That will be the evenness. Okay. So I hope that we remember these 4 qualities. These are really helping us to grow our relationship and make our relationship smooth. We know that relationships are really a challenge. It's never easy. Relationship require a lot of work to make it really smooth and nice. And because everyone is very unique and everyone has their own background, own upbringings, and all our own habits and patterns. So not easy to put individuals together. Definitely it's a challenging, but learning those techniques, learning these skills, learning these teachings, we can actually make relationship work, and we can make our relationships smooth and nice. But at the same time, we can also make use of the relationships to generate an inner growth. Sometimes when we try with these qualities, many relationships will turn into be nice ones. Some relationships may not turn into nice ones, but it will definitely develop an inner growth in us. Okay, so now we can have a discussion time. you can ask any question. Bante, do we have anyone joining from YouTube?
Yes, Bante, I think there are 13 friends joining through YouTube. So I think we can allow them to join through Zoom if they have anything to share.
Yes. Yes, yes, we invite all the friends who are joining on YouTube. Maybe if you like to ask a question, maybe you can join the Zoom meeting. Bante will put you the link in the chat section. Or alternatively, you can also type your questions in the chat area. Meanwhile, so we have our friends right in front of me. So anyone would like to ask any questions or share your experience and anything about these four factors. Anyone would like to share or ask any questions regarding these four qualities? Yes, does anyone have a question? Okay, does anyone has our chanting book?
We can get it.
Because in our chanting book, actually, we chant these four qualities on every Wednesday. Can you turn into the section on reflections on the teachings of the Buddha? Ante, what is the page number for the reflections on the teachings of the Buddha?
12.
12. At the bottom of the page 12, at the bottom of the page 12, there is an English. Can anyone read that part? You find all these four qualities I just mentioned in that chanting in the page 12 at the bottom. Yes, Tim, would you like to read that one, Tim?
Generosity, kind words, benevolent actions towards others, and equanimity towards all beings and all things. These bonds of sympathy function in the world like the linchpin in a moving cart.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Reading that. That's the another place where Buddha described these four qualities, and there the evenness is being translated as equanimity towards all things and all beings. And it says there's an interesting simile there, right? There's an interesting simile that in these four qualities function in the world, in a society, like a in a moving car. Can anyone help us to understand that simile? Of course, many of you may not have seen a moving cart. In the wheel of the cart, in the linchpin is the tool that secure the wheel into the axle. You know, in the wheel we have axle, and then you fix the wheel to the axle, and the linch pin is the pin that you secure the wheel into the axle. And once we have that pin, that linch pin, and then it can move smoothly. Without that, the wheel will move away, and then the cart cannot run. Cart cannot move. Yes, Raya, do you have anything to share? So just like, you know, that little linchpin is make everything possible. Just like the linchpin secure the wheel to the cart and makes, you know, the cart movable. These four qualities is helping the whole society just like that. Okay, welcome, Nikki. So are you joining us from Illinois?
I'm in Chicago, yeah.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, you're from Chicago. Yeah. So were you listening to the talk?
Yeah, I've been here the whole day.
Okay, yeah. Any sharing or any questions?
Yeah, I had a question about when we were talking about one of the qualities related to like I'd love if you do this. Like I love that sentiment, and it also like I try in my relationships to not change or control someone else's behavior or what they do. And so I was just wondering more like how to say that to someone without the intention of trying to control or change them. So, yeah, I don't think people can change through like shame or yeah.
I think that's an excellent question, you know, how we can, you know, maintain our relationship without trying too much on controlling the other person's behavior, right? So, and definitely, I think, you know, this is what is, in a relationship, this is what can happen. You know, we all have our own styles of, you know, doing things, our own styles of, you know, emotional reaction and everything. But, you know, when we live together as a couple or as a group, and there can be, you know, situations of friction, you know, some kind of friction, some kind of tension because of the, you know, the way we do things. And no one's mistake, but, you know, because of different styles of doing things, you know, how different priorities. And then different, you know, styles of emotional reaction. You know, some people get easily emotional, and other, you know, different styles. So and when we two people or few people live together, and these different styles of doing things, different priorities, different styles of emotional reactions, can create, you know, tension and create frictions. In such situation, we have to work as a group or as a couple to smoothen those, you know, frictions. So for that, we need some discussion, and then we need some suggestion, right? So it's definitely very important that we don't try to control the other person, but you know, each and everyone has rooms for improvement and development. And in a relationship, that's one of the great benefit of relationship, because we will not get to know our own, you know, weakness, or our own, you know, we will not get to know our own weakness or our own mistakes if we are not with someone else. So the other, our relationships are like mirrors, you know, and if we live with a group with other person, and it create a kind of mirror that we can look into our own, you know, weaknesses, our own emotional reactions and everything. So therefore, there are rooms for improvement. We are not perfect. We can grow. We can improve, and we can. So therefore, although we don't want to control the other person, we can use our relationship as a way to, you know, grow our personality. And also saying that, I would love, if I would love it, I mean, anyway, when we are living together, definitely as a group or as a couple, we definitely, ask the other person to do things, or maybe we definitely express our, maybe displeasure. So this praise, I would love it if this statement is actually helping us to express our need rather than our frustrations. In most of the cases, we express our frustration and then it is not pleasant, and also it's sometimes difficult for the other person to understand and what the other person need, because we don't express that need. We only express the frustration, and then therefore this praise can help us to communicate our need, and then maybe not not as a way of putting pressure on the other person, maybe like showing him the way that how things can happen better. So it's important. I think although we don't want to control anyone, but we can help each other to grow, or we can help the relationship to be healthier and stronger and pleasant. Thank you. Any other thoughts or sharing or comments?
There's another comment in the YouTube chat about, can you speak on the aftermath of letting go of relationships and when they're harmful or hurtful over time? Like how to use the qualities.
Thank you, Nikki. Can you repeat that? That means like not during the relationship, but aftermath of the relationship?
Yeah, the comment says that she's had the opportunity to apply these qualities in letting go of relationships that have grown harmful or hurtful over time. Can you speak to the aftermath of letting go of relationships?
Letting go of the relationships. Yes, sometime, definitely we not like every relationships are going to end in any way. I mean, no relationships are permanent, and of course, there can be lifelong relationships, and some relationship can even go beyond the life. But but at least relationships can end even after lifetime. But some relationships will end before our lifetime. And sometimes we have to make a decision, and mainly if the relationship is more like a toxic, and then if the relationship is not helping us to grow, definitely we have to let it go. So I think the question is that how to maybe how to deal with aftermath of relationship, maybe how to use these qualities, right? Yeah. And definitely, I think once we decided to end the relationship, and once we make that decision, the most important thing is not to carry any antagonism, with regard to the other person. Because if you're not going to have a long, close relationship in any longer, what's the point of having any anger, because you're not going to stay close. So the best thing is like maybe end the relationship in a pleasant way, understanding each other's concerns. But it may not be that smooth, because we never know how the other person will react. But I think if you think about these 4 qualities, like generosity in the terms of letting go, like you are willing to sacrifice, you're not going to complain the other person that I have spent this much of time for you, and that is a waste of the time, and you ruin my time, you ruin my life. Instead of saying those things, you are willingly, like you develop the generosity. I'm generous I was generous with my time with the other person, I'm okay with that. It's my giving. So you don't complain about the things that you give, the time that you spend. You just think it as act of generosity. That can help us to like smoothen our mind and not to have any other toxic conversations of the aftermath of the action. So I think and of course other qualities can also help us, but I think mainly using these qualities mainly like maintaining the evenness with the other person. I think these, I mean, my comments will be these qualities can help us to reduce negativity, after an ending a relationship. Unfortunately, most of the relations when we end any relationship, most of the time there can be some form of negativity. But we should work slowly to get out of that negativity. If the other person is not getting out of that negativity, it's okay. At least we ourselves as an individual, because we only can control ourselves mainly after the ending of a relationship. We cannot control the other person anyway. So therefore, from our own part, if we can use these techniques to reduce our negativity, reduce our ill feeling, reduce our disappointments, that can help us to heal. So these qualities can help us that way, particularly the generosity part, and then also the evenness, the last one. Any other thoughts or comments? Maybe at the last, I would like to share this story. I might have told this story a few times, but it's worth repeating. It's really, I personally use this story as a way of dealing with other people, and then and maintain the relationships. This is this is a story about the Chinese farmer who had the pot with a crack. Who remembers that story? The pot with the crack. I see one hand. Yeah, he says Maitri. Maitri, do you remember the pot with the crack story?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. Can you briefly share with us the pot with the crack? You remember, what happened? What happened to the pot with the crack? Yeah. Maybe today you will refresh your memory. This is a very common story, but I think it's really important for us to remember. There's a farmer. This happened in a Chinese village in ancient China, and this farmer lived on a top of a mountain, and therefore he had to carry water every day. So his well was on the bottom of the mountain. So every day he has to come down and carry the water. So he was using, and he has two pots, and the two pots were tied into a pole. So he carried the water in two sides. So the two pots were tied into a stick. And then he will fill the water in the two pots and then carry the water across his shoulder. So the one pot hanging on one side, the other pot hanging on the other side. So then that is how we carry the water. So every day he will carry the water to the top of the mountain. But in between these two pots, one pot had a crack. So one of his friends, noticed that actually that one pot has a crack, and therefore that pot is leaking. So when he's carrying the water from the bottom of the mountain all the way to the top, by the time that he reached the top, almost half of the water is gone. But the other pot has the water. So his friends ask him, didn't you observe, this pot has a crack? Why why do you want to use your energy, like waste your time by carrying this pot every day, and because you only get the half full of the pot by the end of the journey. And then the farmer asked his friend, when you come to my house, didn't you notice that there are flowers along these steps? And then the friend say, oh yes, I remember seeing the flowers, but the flowers was only on the one side of the path, one side of these steps. And then the farmer told him, that is the side that I hold, I carry the pot with a crack. So what this farmer is doing, he is filling this water into both pots, and instead of and then he carry that pot, and along the way the pot with the crack will leak, and it will drop the water drop by drop, throughout the journey. So what this farmer did actually, instead of throwing the pot, instead of blaming, being frustrated about this pot, what he did was actually, and along that side, he has planted seeds of flowers. He has planted seeds of the flowers from the bottom of the steps, the path, all the way to the top of the path. And so every day he will carry that pot with the crack on that side. So therefore, throughout his journey, that pot with the crack will water those seeds. And then that side is full of flowers all the time. So he make use of the pot, and try to accommodate that pot, and then try to make a best use of that pot, even though that pot has a crack. And then, and this story can help us understand that many of us, not only others, many of us are in a way a pot with a crack, right? And everyone is not perfect. We have some kind of crack, a little bit of a crack. It's a little bit of a weakness, little bit of imperfection. We all have that. And all our friends, will have all the good qualities, strength, but also, some weakness. Our family members may have it. Our friends have it. Our co-workers may have it. And it's very rare that we find a perfect pot. And many of the people that we associate have some kind of crack, some kind of weakness. It's also ourselves also. We ourselves also not perfect also. But what we can do, actually, just like this farmer did, we have to be creative in how to use the strengths of the friend, and then try to relate to that friend or that our family member, how to relate to that person with the strengths, and then how to accommodate that weakness in a way that will not disturb our relationship. The farmer was genius, and maybe we have to be genius too, with our family members, our friends, and our colleagues, and that will be the best way. Yeah. So Maiti, do you remember now the pot with the crack? What the farmers did with the pot with the crack? Yeah, he used the pot with the crack to water the plant, right? And the whole path becomes so beautiful. Okay, Bante, it is it's becoming, it's past midnight for me, already 1 o'clock in the night. So
Yes, Bante. So we can conclude our session before we are going to do a blessing chant, and also if they wish to have a short meditation,
Yes.
We conclude there. So, Bante, you can go to bed now.
Otherwise, I'll be sleeping on this chair. Yeah. And I really want to thank you, and really nice to see everyone, thank you, Kyoko. I distributed your gifts to our, children in our open ages and our little monks, and they are so thrilled, so happy to, receive your gift. And they are busily making some cards for you. And thank you very much. And thank you, everyone. Nice to see, Sister Kalyani and Manjula Mahathya and, Sritesh and family. And also Janaka Mahathya and the family. And I'm so glad to see Tim here. and who is sitting behind Tim?
Keep me, now.
Sorry, it's too far for me to recognize.
That's it,
And
Bante. You can see others are behind the camera, so you cannot see them.
Others I don't see. Yeah, but I'm so glad to see every one of you. And I wish you a great rest of the day. And thank you very much. So nice to see you all came in to spend this monthly program with us. And really nice to see, and really nice to see your support. And thank you, Bantes, for taking care of, our people, our group. And thank you everyone who joined our, online, and thank you, Nikki, for your question and
And also
me.
Adrian, the one who raised that question, Bante, Nikki repeated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, so please have a short meditation and receive the blessing, and Bantes will chant, and I will I will stop from here. Okay. And
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Bante. Good night.
Thank you. Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan Saranai. Okay, thank you everyone who joined our Zoom and YouTube. So now we are going to conclude our online streaming, and just we are doing only our blessing service now for the people here. So if you wish, so we can have a few minutes meditation. Still the people are here. Okay, let them be there so we can do our meditation. So how long can you meditate now? How many minutes?
5.
You are honest, so let me go to your parents. Honestly, maybe less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. That is a preparation. Okay? Less than 10 minutes. So before we start meditation, better to stand up and relax your body. Then we can start our meditation. Yeah, okay. Our friend Tim, he's our guide of to do a physical movements in some other meditation session. So I invite him to do some, instruct us to do some physical movements.
So we're going to begin by just standing as still as we can, like statues, but a relaxed statue. So we're letting our arms hang at our side. We're just letting our feet press into the floor. We're just trying to feel that point where our feet touch the floor. If it's comfortable, you can close your eyes. You should keep your balance. If not, keep your eyes open. And see what it feels like. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And then breathe out through the nose. And see if you can just keep your attention at the point where the feet meet the floor. And we're just going to do some shoulder rolls, taking a nice deep breath in. Roll the shoulders towards the front of the room and then up towards your ears. And then as you breathe out, roll them down the back. Again, breathe in, forward, up, exhale down the back. We'll do that 3 more times. Count on your own. Breathing in as you go forward and up. Breathing out as you go down and back. Once you count that third round, shoulders will be down, the breath will be out. And then inhale, reverse. Pull them back, up, and then forward. And count 5 of those. And then once that 5th one has been counted, come back to stillness and just see what you can feel in your body now. Do you feel any sensations? Do you feel any tingling? Do you feel any heat? This time we're going to create a whole bunch of tension in our body. I'd like you to make your fists tight, take your shoulders up towards your ears, and tuck your tailbone, and then clench your teeth, make your face tight, tight, tense, tense. Exhale, relax. Again, inhale. Everything gets tight, tense, tense, tense. Exhale, relax. One more time. Inhale deeply, up, tight, tense, tense. Exhale, relax. The last one, we're going to pretend we're sitting in a chair. So, I'd like you to take a nice deep breath in. As you reach down, maybe your fingertips touch the ground. And then reach your arms up towards the sky. And bring your hands right by your ears. And then breathe out as you sit back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. One more deep breath here. Exhale. And then inhale, reach out. I want you to reach out as you breathe out, like you're trying to touch the ground. Let your arms hang by your body. Stand still like a statue. What do you feel now? Then slowly return to your seat, trying to keep your attention on your body as you prepare for seated meditation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much for instructions. So now all of us are now more energetic. So all the lethargic feelings has gone. So now we can meditate, right? This meditation, so at the end of this meditation, we just start slowly our blessing chant. Meanwhile, the blessing chant also, you can be in your meditative posture. Now, you have some close sensations in your body after you have done these physical movements. With this awareness, adjust your body. Sit comfortably and adjust your body into a comfortable meditative posture. Either you are sitting on a chair or on a cushion. Just keep your upper body upright, chin parallel to the floor, and you can keep your both palms on your lap. And keep your eyes closed gently. Now take a moment to feel your entire body. It's more relaxed. Take a deep breath slowly. Slowly breathe out while relaxing your upper body. Take a few more breaths mindfully. Come back to a natural breath. You can feel your entire body. I'll ring this bell. The sound of the bell will help you to settle your mind and gather your attention into this present moment. Until the end of the sound of the bell, be with the sound. Keep listening. Listen to your mind. You can still hear the sound of the bell. It's resounding in your mind. When you mindfully pay your attention to your mind, you can listen. That is how your mind functions. Now take a moment to observe your present mind. What is really happening in your mind? Thoughts. Various types of thoughts are occurring in your mind. Observe them and understand the nature of your mind. With this understanding, now you can generate wholesome thoughts instead of these random thoughts in your mind. Let's generate loving kindness. Loving kindness, the universal friendliness. Wishing all beings to be well, to be happy, to be peaceful. Start from yourself. Think about yourself, the person sitting right here. Your mind, your body, your life. Genuinely generate loving kindness, following the guidance, repeating in your mind, generate loving kindness. May I be well, be happy, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful. May I be safe, be healthy, be healed, be healed, be healed. May my mind be well, be healthy, be healed, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful. The same genuine loving kindness now you are going to extend to all other beings. The loving kindness you are generating is boundless, no limits, without exception. Now expand your loving kindness to all beings. Let's start from here. Genuinely make these wishes to all these friends, including these kids, these monks, to everyone else. May all these friends, these kids, these spiritual friends be well, be happy, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful. May all of them, these kids, these monks, these friends, be safe, be healthy, be healed, be healed, be healed. Without exception, let's expand our loving kindness to all beings beyond this room, living near or far, visible or invisible, all the creatures, all the animals, to all beings. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Be peaceful. Be peaceful. May all beings, including your family members, friends, neighbors, relatives, co-workers, the neutral people in your life, the people who have not met yet in your life, anyone else in this world, in this universe, may all beings be well, be happy, be peaceful, be safe, be healthy, be healed, be healed, be healed. May all beings have happy minds. Repeat in your mind like a mantra. May all beings have happy minds. May all beings have happy minds. Keep repeating in your mind and generate loving kindness to all beings. The monks will be chanting the discourse of loving kindness, originally uttered by the Buddha with great compassion. So we wish, may you all receive the great compassion of the Buddha. May you all be well, happy, receive good health, and be peaceful. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Karaniya matta kusalena antang santang padang abhisamicca sakko ujuce sujuce suvacuca semudu anetimani santutse koce subharoce aptakincoce sallavuka bunti santindriyoce nipakoce appagabbo kulesu ananugindo nacha kutta Buddhang samacari kincin vinyu pare upawadeyung sukino wake minu huntu sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta yeke cipana bhutanti Anavasesa digava ye mahantava majjimaras kanukatula dittava yeva additta ye cedure vasanti avidure bhutava sam Sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta naparo parang nikumbet natimang nyet kanta chinang kanche vyarosana patig sanyana manyasya dukkhamikye mata yathaniyang puttang ayusaik Manurake evampi sabbe bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimanang mettanca sabbe lokasmin bhavaye aparimanang uddhang adoca tiriyanca asang badhang averang asapantang pittang carang nisinno vasayano va Vigatamindo etang sating aditteya brahmametang viharang idemau dittinca anupagamna silva dasanena sampanno kamesu nahi jatu gabbaseyang punareti tena tanca vanjena sontite Etena tanca vanjena sambarogo vinassetu etena tanca vanjena hotu te jaya mangalang sabbitiyo vivanjantu sambarogo Mate bhavatvam terayo sukhi digayuko bhave bhavatu sabbe mangalang rakkantu sabbe devata sabbe buddhanubhavena sada sunti bhavantu te bhavatu sabbe mangalang sabbe devata sabbe dhammanubhavena sada sunti bhavantu te bhavatu sabbe mangalang sabbe devata sabbe sanghanubhavena sada sunti bhavantu te Thank you everyone. Wish you all good health.
Thank you.